It's the most precious part of you. That's where the answers come, when your thoughts are calm and you're searching for the truth. Do what your heart says. Do what your heart says.
There's a treasure map hidden in the depth of your soul.
If you find that map and you take that path, it will lead you to the golden heart of hearts,
Overflowing
with knowing and bliss.
if you get that far,
Just keep going, remembering this. Do what your heart says you should do. It's the most precious part of you. That's where the answers come, when your thoughts are calm and you're searching for the truth. Do what your heart.
Center for Spiritual Living St. George is seeking a new senior minister. St. George is a top Utah destination with its incredibly mild climate and close proximity to not one but 5 beautiful national parks. It boasts several award-winning golf courses, many parks and recreation areas, as well as over 65 miles of urban trail system. It is home to numerous festivals and art shows, concerts, and theater productions, in addition to hosting various national sporting events. All of this in a city with a population of only 90,000 and a metropolitan area of around 172,000. Center for Spiritual Living St. George welcomes diversity and is as spectacular as its surrounding area. Founded in 2011, we have been an integral part of our community, holding weekly Sunday services, offering classes and workshops, and sponsoring special events. We have a dedicated leadership team that includes 6 tenured core council members, 5 licensed practitioners, a staff music leader, and regular volunteers. If you or someone you know might be interested in being a part of this thriving center, please visit our website at CSLSG.org or log on to our Facebook page, Center for Spiritual Living St. George, where we are currently streaming our live Sunday morning services and would love to have you join us. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Good morning. Welcome to the Centers for Spiritual Living in St. George. My name is Alan Stanley. We are an open, loving, and inclusive community, and we support creative thinking and living a deeply spiritual life. We have a great program lined up today. The music will be provided by Cheryl Barlow, and our Mary Klein will be presenting our Sacred Covenant and our invocation. We have a very special guest speaker, Eugene Holden, a CSL licensed practitioner. So we got a lot of good things lined up for you today. So let's just get this thing going, and come on in, Cheryl, and let's hear some music.
Good morning, Alan. I am super excited for today as well. So we are just going to get to that soft and sacred space within us that just allows us to be open to the message and to be open to that still small voice. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is well, all is healed, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. And now I'm going to welcome Mary Klein to do our invocation today.
Good morning. I know that prayer is our most powerful contact with the greatest force in this universe. Let us begin with conscious breathing. If comfortable, please close your eyes and place your feet flat on the ground. While breathing in slowly, say it in the quietness of your heart. I am breathing in. As you breathe out, say, I am breathing out. Imagine breathing in through the crown chakra at the top of your head and breathing out through solar plexus. It helps to keep you in the present moment. Now perhaps think, I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. There is one loving spirit. The heart of all creation is the expression of this unconditional love. The only power is the healing power of absolute love. The love that is given freely and fully to all our creation. In the magnificence of this autumn, beautiful, sunny day, I sense, I feel, and I know the almighty presence of the divine. It's right here, it's right now. It is the peace and harmony of existence. Power is so pervading and all loving. Everything is God. God is the good of the universe. As I breathe, I know it is God that I breathe right here and right now. As this is true, I feel, I sense, and I know that I am one with this all-pervading presence. It has created me, therefore I am all that it is. I am one with this loving energy. And I know that this is true about me. It's true about everyone viewing us today and those who engage with us later. Because there is only one life, we are one with God. Therefore, it is from this space I bless this gathering. I give thanks for the deeper realization of my open heart, knowing every element of this gathering is blessed. From the music from Cheryl, welcoming from Alan, the invocation, the reading, and the message of staying the course of new normal from our beloved guest practitioner, Eugene, through the offering and the closing. We are fully open to the wisdom and clarity that is available to us this day from Source, from Eugene Holden, and from each other. We are open, we are receptive, and we're available to Source. We are so blessed. In calm confidence, perfect peace, and trust, we express our gratitude to Source for today. Blessed be, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Mary. I'm going to run through this song again, and the lyrics will be on screen, and I just invite you to affirm these words with me. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is well, all is healed, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. Let's do that one again. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. Amen. And now I'm going to invite Mary Klein back in, and she's going to read our Sacred Covenant. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe, for it is written, "Let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives, and as freely as it has been given to us, let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole," by Ernest Holmes. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth about myself, for I live in the presence and the law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through the mature understanding of the wholeness of life, I am accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. I embrace, go within to see your own personal truth here. I now accept the highest expression of our new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am so grateful, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is. So this week's topic, as Alan mentioned, is staying the course in the new normal. And I'm certain that that's a question that we've all asked ourselves, is what is going on here? Last month in the Science of Mind magazine, Kurt Conde wrote this: I still expect my invitation to growth will arrive in a gold foil envelope or be presented as a menu of delightful selections I can enjoy one at a time, like courses in a fine meal. Instead, it jumps into my lap like a wet dog at a wedding, bounding in with its own messy agenda, disrupting my best laid plans. And that's probably the nicest thing we could say about 2020. But Ernest Holmes reminds us, in prayer and meditation, we commune with the invisible spirit. We draw its strength, its peace, and its serenity into our own souls. And that's certainly the best reminder that we need right now. The times are surely changing. The days are rearranging. I feel the unfamiliar moving in. I could be so uncertain, trying to see behind the curtain, but there's nothing there for proving or to win. And so I go inside. I let my mind be quiet. I take those roads that I put off for tonight. I take the time to heal, to see, to breathe, to feel. And spirit's there everywhere. And when I lose myself, I find it. The news sends out its warning, and the world responds in mourning. How to hold it all without being consumed. Dear ones near and far seem farther, and fear wants us not to bother. But love can always find a way to bloom. And so I go inside. I let my mind be quiet. I take those roads that I put off for tonight. I take the time to heal, to see, to breathe, to feel. The spirit's there everywhere. Yes, I will go inside and let my mind be quiet. I'll take those roads that I put off for tonight. Spirit's there everywhere. And when I lose myself, I find it. Good reminder. So it is my pleasure to introduce Eugene Holden, who is speaking for us today. He is a religious science practitioner, an internationally renowned speaker and life coach who works with people to ignite their true magnificent. You may recognize his name from Science of Mind magazine. He has a wonderful column of affirmations, and I just treasure this time with you. Thank you so much for being here, Eugene.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you for that beautiful song as well. Good morning, Centers for Spiritual Living St. George, and everyone else who is tuning in. It is so good to be here with you. I am so excited. I'm traveling right now. I am in downtown Baltimore, Maryland, just doing what I do, going around spreading the news that life is good. You know, it's an interesting thing, right? 2020. So what today's talk is about, staying the course in the new normal. Right? 2020 has been an interesting time. Here we are in the 10th month, October, in the second half of October, in the 10th month of 2020. Now, remember when 2020 started, and, not only were we saying, it's a new year, but it's a brand new decade, and 2020 symbolizes clear vision. Well, in order for us to get to the clear vision, I guess what's happening is that we have experienced what I call some cataracts. But in order for us to get to the clear vision, these cataracts are up. That's clouding this vision. We have all of this stuff. We have protests going on. We have divisiveness that's going on within the country. We have COVID-19 where people are dying, and so there's all of this stuff that's going on, right? We are having to do social distancing. I want to say something about that really fast. Social distancing is not really social distancing. It's more of a physical distancing that we're doing, because social media, like we're doing now, has really taken off and is playing a great part of us staying connected socially. So yes, there's a physical distancing, but while we're out there in the physical world, when people are wearing masks, which is a great thing. Keep doing that, because we want to make sure that not only are we safe, but we are making sure that everybody around us is safe. So we are looking at this. We are being told that this is the new normal. This is the new normal. Well, there are things that are changing, right? Life is always changing. And the one thing that does not change, though, is spirit. Now, you can call it whatever you would like to call it, call it spirit, call it the universal subconscious, call it universal intelligence, call it God, call it Yahweh. The Tao Te Ching in the very first chapter of the Tao Te Ching says, the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the nameless Tao, or it's not the eternal name. Right? It's not the eternal name. So we get to call it whatever we want, but this is what I want you to really know is whatever you call it, you want to call it forth into your conscious awareness, recognizing that in this change, in this thing that we call the new norm, this does not change. Spirit, God, Yahweh, Tao, universal intelligence, whatever we want to call it, whatever works for you, does not change, and you are a part of that which does not change. So there is something within you, there is something within me, there is something within all of us that does not change. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, since all is included within this unit, let me get this, there we go. We find our particular good only through the unity of life. Let me read that again. Since all is included within this unit, we find our particular good only through the unity of life. In other words, our good comes from this state of unity. See, that does not change. That does not change. So with all of this going on, we can get distracted from the truth. One of the things I like to say is that fact is not always truth. See, the fact is, yes, there's stuff going on. Absolutely. But the truth is, there is something greater that we are to pay attention to. There is something greater that we are being called to be, not just to do, but to be. Right? So the truth is that there is this infinite intelligence within us that is guiding and directing all of us to be greater, to be better, to be more, to be more, to be more. So with all of them, stuff that's going on in the news. You know, we are on the brink of an historical, and they're all historical, but this one a little bit more so, historical election. For me, it doesn't matter what side of the political fence you stand on. That's not the point. The point is there's stuff going on here. So we have the political race that's going on. We have all of the protesting that's going on around not just the nation but the world. We have COVID-19 that's just not happening in the nation but the world. We have all of this going on. And what I want to say, that all of these, if we are not careful, we can be sucked into and targeted by, if we allow ourselves to be targeted by, the weapons of mass distraction, right? Distracting us from who we are to be, right? Who we are to be and what it is, what's ours to do. I've been saying for a little while now, for me, my first question is not what is mine to do. My first question in any situation is, who am I to be? Who am I to be in this situation? You know, maybe the situation is calling for me to be more compassionate. And then that informs what is mine to do. Maybe the situation is calling for me to be more loving or to be more clear about what is going on. Or maybe the situation is calling for me to be on my way, right? So the question for me is, who am I to be in this situation, whatever the situation is? And again, when I am informed, or when I am clear on who I am to be, that informs what is mine to do. So let's not be distracted by the distractions. Yes, the fact is there's a lot of crap going on. And I use that word specifically because we can use the crap for manure for a brand new growth. See, we want to get out of, and it's okay to be involved with what's going on. It's okay to watch the news. You know, I know people, and even I've done this throughout the years, you know, not watched the news, and it's okay to watch the news. It's okay to watch all of that stuff, because what we can do in staying the course, you know, allowing Spirit to guide and direct us, is we can use all of that in the media, the newscast, and all of that. We can use those as prayer requests. Now, I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do, but who am I to be in this situation? You know, am I to be angry with this? And sometimes anger is good. Sometimes we need to feel that. Sometimes we need to express it in a way that's constructive. You know, so sometimes we need to feel that, because we are human beings having a spiritual experience on this spiritual plane called Earth. So sometimes I may need to be upset, and that's okay. What I am really saying also is, let's not bury our heads in the sand pretending like none of this is going on, which I think is kind of impossible at this point, October 2020. But what we are really here to do is to stay the course in the times of new normal. Speaking of new normal, I have something to say here. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be normal. What's that old saying? Normal is a setting on the dryer. I don't want to be normal. I want to be my natural self. You are called to be your natural self. See, normal is fitting in. And fitting in is not the same as belonging. See, in order for, and this is the analogy that I want to use on this. So you have this square peg, right? And you want to fit this square peg into a round hole. But in order for that square peg to fit into that round hole, you have to either shave off the corners, right? You have to smooth them out. You have to change the shape of the original square, which means that now you have changed its integrity. Or to go one step deeper, in order for that square peg to fit into a round hole, you have to shrink it. Oh, man. And we don't want to shrink. We don't want to be normal. We want to be our natural divine selves. So staying the course in this new normal is about stepping into who you are naturally. You are naturally the beloved of the divine. You are naturally inspired to touch lives naturally. Oh, something else that's naturally you are taking care of naturally. So let's not get distracted by the weapons of mass distraction. Let's stay the course by standing firmly in the truth that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is your life. That life is my life. That is the life of the universe. That life is our life now. So when I say stay the course in the seeming new normal, that means that I am encouraging you to continue with your spiritual practice in spite of what seems to be going on. You know, instead of getting distracted by all that is going on, staying the new normal. Staying the course is about staying strong, standing strong in the truth that God, the infinite intelligence, whatever name works for you, is that which is not only surrounding you and guiding and directing you to experience your highest and the best. More importantly, it is that which is within you. Now, those of you who know me, you know how much I love affirmative prayer. Oh my God. Affirmative prayer is no longer something that I just do. It's not just going through the steps. Affirmative prayer has become and should be for everybody, in my humble opinion, a way of life. Right. So that first step, as we know, is to recognize that there is a divine something, that is at the very center of all of life, and having no circumference. There isn't anything that can or does or will exist outside of the presence of that which I call God. But let's take that recognition step a little further, staying the course. That recognition, I love the word recognition. It is to know again, again. So let's recognize, number one, that we are divine. Let me know that again, which means that there's something within me that has always known that. But here's the thing about that recognition step, living from a place of recognition, is to recognize the beloved, to recognize the divine, to recognize grace, to recognize peace, even when there seems not to be peace or grace. To recognize that divine in that person that pushes that button or gets on that last nerve. Maybe you're not happy with the people that you work with, but we want to stay the course and to recognize that even right where they are, the divine is. Another way that I look at it is when that person who pushes the button, is, doing that, they're pushing the button. The one thing that I want to recognize is that, number one, they might be pushing the button, but they did not install the button. In the Toltec teaching, the petty tyrant, which that person could be called, we are to be grateful for, because they're the ones who brought up the fact that there is this button that was pushed. So I thank them, right? So, and then the other thing that we want to do is to recognize the divine in everyone, in everything and in everyone. But you say, Eugene, how can I do that when there are people, that are being killed, and there are kids who are still being mistreated and not fed, and police are doing what police do, and all of that is going on? I get it. And staying the course is about digging deeper within to who we truly are. See, because there's this there's this cosmic connection that we all have around the world. We are all connected. We are connected on the atomic level. We are connecting at the psychic level. So let me go to step 2 in this thing that we call affirmative prayer, where we are unified with the one. Here's the thing, right? The breath that you breathe, the breath that I breathe is the same breath. And so we all breathe the breath of the infinite. We are all connected. Thurgood Marshall, which was the first African American member of the Supreme Court, said, "In recognizing the humanity of our fellow beings, we pay ourselves the highest tribute." Catch that. In recognizing the humanity of our fellow beings, we pay ourselves the highest tribute. Again, to recognize is to know again, which is to identify someone or something, from having encountered them before, which is part of the dictionary definition. So to recognize that we are surrounded by an infinite intelligence, to recognize that we are one with all that there is, and to recognize that this thing that I call God always is and always will be the one constant. So in this thing that we call the new norm, because of all of the changes that's going on, and that will continue to change, because the one thing that does not change is change itself, we get to stand in that knowing that right where we are, there is this something within us that is always guiding and directing and sometimes correcting our course to experience the highest and the best. So in this new norm, we want to absolutely stand boldly and courageously, knowing that there is something that's calling us to be greater than we have been called before. There is something that is calling each and every one of us to show up in a more powerful way, more than we have ever been called to before. And staying the course in the new normal is staying the course of spirit. You know, I was speaking with my good friend, the Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, talking about, stirring up the waters, that the waters are stirred up. And he reminded me of this old gospel song that says, waiting in the water, waiting in the water, waiting in the water, children, waiting in the waters. God's gonna trouble the waters. So it's this infinite intelligence that's not outside of us, but there's this collective consciousness that has troubled the water, right? So we get to stand boldly on top of the water, staying the course, using spirit to be our rudder, using spirit to be the guidance system, using spirit within us to guide and direct us, to be the example of peace, to be the example of grace, to be the example of love, being the example of love. Is this an easy thing to do? Maybe not, but it's not impossible. And if you're listening to this right now, if you are a part of Centers for Spiritual Living St. George, if you are a part of the New Thought teaching, if you are a part of Science of Mind and Spirit, well, then you are mandated to stay the course. Because you've said yes. You've said yes. It has been an honor to be here with you. It has been a pleasure to come share this time with you and Centers for Spiritual Living St. George. I pray that we all continue to stay the course, to rise up above the weapons of mass distraction, so that we can be that vibratory frequency of unconditional love. Peace and abundant blessings to you. I love you.
Namaste, Eugene. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful message. We hope that we'll get you back here pretty soon. And I happened to hear that you're in Baltimore today, and that's a wonderful city. I hope you enjoy it. If it says weather there is like it is here, it's going to be a great day.
Oh, it's gorgeous outside. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. We'll see you soon, Eugene. Thank you very much. So we're still operating here at the center, and even though we're not opening the doors for groups of people right now, we still are paying the rent and keeping the lights on. And so if you feel inclined to help us out with your conscious contribution, there's several ways you can do it. You can text it, as you can see up here on the screen, or email it. There's a link on the website that I kind of like to use because it makes me, it's like writing a check. I have to go through a bunch of stuff to do it. But that'd be great if you keep us going, and we'll all be together really soon. We have a lot of stuff still going on. We have our care circle that is active group, and if you feel like let's like to touch base with somebody and share some prayer or just some be together, you can contact them with the phone number at the center. we are still searching for a minister. You probably got that message already today. So we're all reaching out. If you know somebody that you think might be inclined or have a desire to join us here in St. George, we'd just love for you to have them give us a call, and we just love to meet them. And you, come join us. So we have our virtual fellowship meeting every Sunday. We don't get to go have the coffee afterward, but we meet on the Zoom at 12 o'clock and talk about what, Eugene's message today and anything that might just come to mind. So you can join that. Our newsletter has a link, and you can also go to the website on our calendar, and I think you can click on that and join our Zoom meeting. So look forward to seeing you here in just a few minutes. So we have our practitioners are available for prayer, and if you need somebody you'd like to just reach out and share some prayer with, you can get a hold through the site, our practitioners, and they'd be more than glad to join you and share some prayer and spirit. So the book club is still going. Sue Fulmer's still running that thing, and it goes on every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And it's a wonderful book, I hear. So if you can get a hold of Sue through the email, as you can see down there, Sue Fulmer at Gmail, and join the club, and we'd love to have you. So next, coming up, some more good speakers. Reverend Dr. Linda Respond will be next week, and Joe Kovac, our friend from Las Vegas, will be coming along. And hope to see you all come join us and for another great Sunday. So we're going to say our closing affirmation. We're all going to join in and do this. And I'd like to take this time to thank Chris McCardle, who's in the background right now making all this stuff work and turning the crank. So thank you, Chris. So here's our closing affirmation. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you next Sunday.